Hey everyone, welcome to The Alternates, a basketball show for the others. It's Friday, January 14th, 2022. I'm still writing 21 down half the time.
Yep.
It takes me like 3 months before I get the year down. We've got a really good show for you today. We're going to be picking a headliner. We're going to be playing 3-pack, which I'm excited to see what you have in store for me. And then we're going to be visiting the Casino of Clayton. We're going to see how I did on my bets last week. We're going to place some new bets this week in today's Bet Brains.
That's right.
Very excited for that. All that and more coming up right after. I'm going to see if I can do this.
Let's see.
It's in Danish. So
okay.
I'm trying here. Verden I Brand by the Assassinators, obviously from Denmark, off their 2008 Sieg Efter Hiautu LP on Alerta Antifascista Records. What is up, y'all? Welcome to the show. I am your host, Brian Cullen, and with me, as always, is the most corrupt odds maker and croupier. New word I learned just for this.
Love the word.
This side of Barstow, California. Clayton Stevens. How you doing, Clayton?
I'm good.
Good.
Excited to get into it.
Yeah, I'm sure the house is doing great.
The house is doing well. We'll get into it.
All right. Quick reminder before we jump into it to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have the link in the episode description. There should be a thing right around here telling you to do it. Also, don't forget, if you're watching, to hit that subscribe. We hit 50.
Yep.
We hit our goal of 50 subs. Let's get to 75. That's the new mark.
That's the new mark. Yep.
Let's get to 75. So that helps. I just share, push it around, push it on people, be aggressive, really help us out by getting us to that 75. Don't forget to like the video. Hit us in the comments like Astro Peaks did. You could see it right here where he told us that the Grizzlies Bulls finals that you brought up, he's seeing odds, I should say they are seeing odds of plus 32,300 on that being the finals.
Juicy. Pretty juicy. Thank you, Astro Peaks.
I can see just the casino lights glimmering in your eyes.
Yes.
As we talk about that. If you're listening to the show on your preferred podcast platform, that's a tough one. Preferred podcast platform.
Yep.
Go ahead and subscribe to the show. Give us a rating and review. It really, truly helps us out. And you can reach us if you want to contact us by emailing us at thealternatehoop@gmail.com. Again, that's in the description of the episode. Hit us up in the comments if you want to, or you can reach us through our socials at Brian S. Cullen and at Clayton_Stevens on Twitter and Instagram. Clayton, how you doing, man? Everything good this week?
Everything's good this week. I'm mourning the loss of Ronnie Spector.
Yeah, that's rough.
One of my favorite artists, my favorite singer, period. Just a unique, amazing voice, and influenced a lot of the music I love, like the Ramones and stuff like that. So big loss in the music world.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the all-time greats. So mourning that, and watching a ton of this NBA stuff go down, and just kind of having a normal week. What about you?
I feel weird jumping off of that awful news.
Yeah,
but
it's okay. We're celebrating Ronnie's music.
Fair.
How about that?
Fair. Yeah,
and her life.
Yeah, she would be the track on the episode, but copyright laws are abundant.
Phil.
Phil just keeps just being a piece of shit somehow. But no, I've been good. I've been watching the games. I got to give a quick shout out because it's not gonna come up at headliners. Did you watch the Kings-Lakers game the other night?
I watch every Lakers game. I can't lie to you. It's the entertainment factor is so high on their games.
It's a gamble every time. I don't know what I'm getting.
Yeah, like sometimes I might miss a quarter or two, but by the time the third quarter pops around, I'm definitely switching over to the Lakers just because something wild's gonna happen.
Did you see the Malik Monk alley-oop off the backboard to LeBron on a fast break? Unreal.
Yeah,
that was unreal.
That's the entertainment factor you're getting with the Lakers this season.
100%.
They're a 500 team, but a damn fun one.
Yeah, but the shout out I want to give from that game is to the Sacramento Kings. So I don't know if you saw this, but in the game they put a graphic up on the jumbotron.
Okay, yes,
that was the ice cold player of the game, and just a huge picture of Russell Westbrook on there, who had a really brutal shooting night in Sacramento. But I love teams that lean into this. The Kings are one of the best, just kind of troll team with stuff like that. Their Twitter account is unrivaled.
Top tier.
Unrivaled. They've got one of the best Twitter accounts. They troll everybody on there. The other team that's really good at it, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, I'll have to pay a little more attention to their social.
So it's not even their social, it's their in-game experience where they do stuff. So I remember this was, I don't know, 3 years ago. This is when like the Voltron Warriors were a thing. When Kevin Durant was still there. So I think it was like 3 years ago. And the Warriors were playing at Milwaukee. And you know how in games they do the kiss cam and all those different things because apparently a basketball game isn't entertaining enough. There needs to be, you're just assaulted with all kinds of stuff anytime the ball isn't in movement. So they did a bandwagon cam in the arena and they were showing fans wearing Warriors jerseys in the Bucks arena. And it's so petty, but I love that stuff.
I love that.
I love it. I think teams need to lean into that a little more. Let's make it fun.
Right. We had the moment the other day with John Morant and the little kid wearing the Warriors jersey, and he said, "Give me his info, I'll send it to him." And now the Grizzlies are doing a promotion. Did you see the promotion?
No. What are they doing?
They're doing a promotion where kids under 12 can come with any jersey and exchange it for a John Morant jersey.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I wonder what
it's on a specific night. I can't remember which one, but yeah, they're doing a night where you can bring any jersey and exchange it for a John Morant jersey.
I wonder what they do with the jerseys that get turned in. I wonder
Hopefully
if
just donate them, Yeah,
I was going to say, I wonder if they like, because every big championship game, the big football game,
yes.
Copyright, again, can't say it out loud. The World Series, any of that stuff, they make the winning championship gear for both teams, and the losing team stuff gets donated. I love to imagine that some remote village somewhere in the world, there's just a group of people that think the Buffalo Bills are the greatest football team that has ever existed, the greatest dynasty of all time. Yeah. So I wonder if the jerseys, they probably get handled similar.
Some way, yeah.
Okay, that's fun. Yeah, I feel like teams pulled back from that. I think it was the Rockets maybe that beat the Mavs a few years ago, and they put up a tweet and it was like, shh, everything will be over soon. And it was the gun emoji to a horse emoji's head.
Oh my goodness.
And people got really worked up about it. And ever since then, teams are playing it, say, oh, we're going to be super nice to each other. Lean into it. Hate each other. I love it.
We love it.
Let's get petty.
Yeah.
Let's jump into headliners.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to throw some headlines your way.
Okay.
And you'll tell me which one you want to dive a little further into.
100%.
All right. So the first one we got here is Damian Lillard gets abdominal surgery, out at least 6 weeks, and the team is immediately calling it indefinite.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah.
Man, the
Open-ended
hits just
there,
keep coming for the Blazers this year.
Now we move over to the Eastern Conference, where show favorite, I believe, at least for me, Montrezl Harrell and KCP getting a physical fight at halftime. Okay.
Speaking of the hits, keep coming, man.
Yeah, interesting. Then we go to something we talked about the other day.
Okay.
The Nuggets and Pistons Bull trade.
Yeah.
The blockbuster Rodney Magruder Bull trade canceled. Bull apparently failed the physical, or the physicals were sent over, and the Pistons didn't like what they see, so the trade is off.
Wow.
Magruder stays with the Pistons.
Wow.
And last one here, Atlanta Hawks trade Cam Reddish to the New York Knicks. There's some other pieces in this deal. Solomon Hill goes to the Knicks. Kevin Knox goes to the Hawks. But essentially what we're looking at here is Cam Reddish going to the Knicks.
Yeah.
What of those stand out to you?
Ooh, all right. The Montrezl Harrell, Cantavius Caldwell-Pope physical fight. It seems like it was just a quick little match. I loved in the story that I read about it too. Basically said they threw punches and nobody landed one, which is the most NBA fight thing ever. Nobody ever lands a punch in the NBA. And that it basically was done by the time they actually entered the locker room.
Yeah.
So that one's interesting. Montrezl Harrell, you call him a show favorite. I don't know if I'm going that far.
Okay. He's a favorite on this side of the desk.
I still have some residual, just the way that ended.
I understand.
Yeah, and actually I think the bigger story coming out of Washington is that Bradley Beal just got COVID for the second time in 3 weeks, which is insane and also terrifying. And I wonder if it's like he got a different variant or something.
I believe he's unvaccinated, or is he vaccinated?
Oh, you might be right.
That probably is playing a role here.
Got it. Nuggets Bull trade. Rodney McGoat doesn't get moved.
Dang.
Rough, which is interesting. I also read this is the second time in 5 years that the Pistons have turned down a trade because of physicals. And they actually did it back in like 94 on a trade too. They have a history of doing this, which is like, I get it. Bull, he had the foot surgery in college, right? Like,
yeah,
that's,
yeah. It's interesting because he hasn't missed
a lot. Healthy.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a lot of time with Denver, but he also hasn't gotten a lot of minutes. So maybe there's something long-term that, the Nuggets clearly were ready to move on from him. Getting the physical might have just been too much. I don't know.
How awkward is it that you trade somebody and then it gets turned down, they come back and you're like, hey, dude, welcome back. Like Rodney Magruder, he went to Denver and he was getting shots up pregame in Denver's last game. He was putting shots up, like warming up. He just didn't play.
Wow.
So he was already there.
Interesting.
That's got to be so uncomfortable. But I think the biggest story here is this trade.
I agree.
If history has taught us anything, next week we're going to be talking about how this trade was nixed. No pun intended, but it worked out really well. But yeah, okay, so let's talk about Cam Reddish going to New York. So I think this is super interesting. I have some theories around it. I love that RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish are back together. They played in college at Duke. The picks just kind of seem like a swap, as said, 2025 second round, like 20.
All kinds of protections from what I saw as well.
Whatever. And I also think it's good that the Knicks move on from Kevin Knox, who's been kind of a disappointment since they drafted him. I was very hopeful for that dude. And hopefully he gets a new start in Atlanta, becomes the shooter that everybody thought he was going to be. I think that could be good for him, just to change the scenery. But I love Cam Reddish going to the Knicks. I think that this is the first domino, though. I don't think this is it. Let me put the tinfoil hat on really quick. I think this is setting things up for them trying to get Zion. We know that the Knicks have wanted Zion since the draft. There was that dude, I don't know if you remember that lottery. There was a dude who tattooed Zion on his body in the Knicks font. That's how bad New York fans wanted him.
Certainly the New York fans wanted Zion very badly.
Oh, I think the Knicks did too. They just didn't get that first pick. It went to New Orleans. I think if they did, they take Zion. No.
I think anyone who had that pick would have taken Zion,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, yeah, of course they wanted Zion. Everyone wanted Zion.
But I think that they're looking at Zion. They're going to get the three that played in Duke back together. They're going to get the old band back together, and that's their big three core moving forward. And then we can just change the name to Duke York.
If this is what they're doing,
yeah,
I don't like it.
Why?
Now look, I like all three of those players individually.
Okay.
I really like what I think Cam Reddish can be. 6'8" wing who, he's got all kinds of skill. Good shooter. Has shown that maybe he can become a better shooter.
Good 3-point shooter.
Good 3-point shooter
Yeah.
with a nice free throw percentage. I think he's shown that maybe he can become a better shooter, I think.
Yeah.
I like RJ Barrett. He's gotten better every year. Zion, a little bit of a question mark, but we've already seen these three together. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. Like, I don't understand why would Zion want to play with RJ Barrett again? He's the reason that Zion didn't have a better season at Duke. He took the ball out of his hands. He, tried to run the offense, and everyone knows that you got to put the ball in Zion's hands if you're going to get the best out of him. That's what we saw last year.
I hear you, but don't you think that I get it, but that's also a bit in the past. These guys have evolved their games. They now have NBA experience. If the three of them got back together, they would be surrounded by NBA talent, which they weren't in college. Who else was on that Duke team?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. I actually went and looked at it. There wasn't a lot. That's fair. Trey Jones was the other lead guard.
Where's he now?
Still in San Antonio? Did he go to San Antonio?
Exactly.
Tough. Look, but that's the college game. I mean, there's no player, like John Morant went to Murray State with not a single other NBA prospect on the team.
Right.
Took the team equally as far as, Duke went. I just don't think those three work together. I think it's a bad fit. And then looking long term, your team is built around three guys who've done nothing.
Yeah, but that's what a build looks like. That's how a rebuild works. Is you get young talent and then you put
when they
it together.
prove something, you pay them.
I get it. I think each one of those guys individually has proved that they have a future in the league.
I agree with that.
And how many years did they play in Duke together? One season. Look, we could look at the Clippers in the bubble and say Kawhi and PG obviously don't work well together. And then the next season they make the conference finals, right? I'm not saying that these guys are Kawhi and PG level yet, but they have the potential, at least a couple of them do, to become that kind of player, impactful in that way. And so I think saying it doesn't work after one college season is kind of crazy. I think that there's potential.
the NBA even more than college. In college, I think the easiest thing to do is put talent around each other, and the most talent usually ends up winning. Or it does really well, right? Like you look at these Kentucky teams where a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander comes off the bench, or Devin Booker comes off the bench, and they were great teams and they did well. Talent will get you much further in college. In the NBA, fit matters, and fit matters a lot, because if you're going to pay three guys a ton of money, they need to make each other better. Cam Reddish is the one who has a chance to be a really high-end role player who can make other people better by, just having gravity, essentially. Yeah. I think that's probably his best skill right now.
I just have faith in Tibbs making it work. I mean, he took last year's Knicks team, which is way worse than the core we're talking about, with less talent, and made them a playoff team. I think that if you replace Julius Randle with Zion, he could do a lot more with that. He could make that team a lot scarier. And I think that marriage with Tibbs and those three could really work. And you still have Fournier, you still have Kemba there. There's pieces that you could make work around them.
So let's say Zion says publicly, I don't want to play in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to play in New Orleans. Trade me and trade me to the Knicks. Okay. To get Zion to the Knicks, I opened up the trade machine just to see.
Okay.
I was just curious.
All right.
This salary-wise could get you Zion. Because the problem, again, he only makes $10 million right now. So let's just wipe out the Knicks' young talent. Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes for Zion. Obviously, that's not enough. Right?
For New Orleans.
For New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, you're not going to give up a generational talent for 3 young players who've done a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can they throw in? They can throw in draft picks, right? They could, but you'd have to be throwing in a lot of draft picks. Drew Holiday got traded for 3.
Yeah.
To New Orleans. So let's say they get 4, right? Like Dallas's picks plus their picks plus whatever it takes to get Zion.
Mm-hmm.
Your team is Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, Zion, RJ, and Cam Reddish. Is that team better than the team that's playing in New York right now with absolutely no future and way to get better?
Yeah. Solely because I actually think if there's a trade, Julius Randle is involved somewhere. So it would be Julius Randle, plus maybe 2 of those young guys, and then it's Zion and something else, right? Like you get a piece that you're going to move on or do whatever with from New Orleans. And I think that...
So Julius Randle, by the way, can't be traded until February 2nd, it looks like here. So he could get traded, but it would have to be right at the deadline.
Yeah.
He makes $21 million. So again, if you're trying to trade Julius Randle for Zion, I mean, I don't see why the Pelicans would do it, number one. I mean, unless, again, you're throwing in more picks to get off of Randle. Because, I mean, is Julius Randle's contract a negative contract now? Is that what we're looking at?
This year it's looking that way because he's definitely not performing up to the level he was at
right, so you're going to have to, again, like, any deal that gets you Zion strips your team.
Yeah.
Of
I also love it because
the ability. And like
Julius Randle back in New Orleans, who left to
yeah.
sign to the Knicks, would be hilarious.
I just think this would be a really short-sighted idea for the Knicks. I like Cam Reddish. I like this deal specifically. I don't like the idea of them trading for Zion.
I completely disagree. I think you get a name like Zion on there. You get a exciting young core. You're the New York Knicks. You're going to get vets in the offseason to come sign with that. You're going to get pieces. You are a destination team. I know that it hasn't been that way lately, but you get a name like Zion in there. I think that it makes you more of a destination, and guys will want to come play.
Well, the pitch last year, we're in the playoffs, we're going to get better. We're going to get some, and they overpaid Evan Fournier. I mean, like, every year we tell ourselves that these guys are going to come to the Knicks.
But I think that they showed more restraint last year than they ever have. I actually thought that it was a really smart offseason for the Knicks because normally they would go for, like the Kevin Durant's of the world. They would go for that, but they may have overpaid a little bit. But I think salary structure, we're still adjusting to the new CBA, which is the salary cap, which is going to go up again.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's money for them to work with to make it happen. And this is the swing I think you go for. Stop trying to get the current superstar, get the guy who can become a superstar with a couple other stars around him. I think it's a smart move, but hey, if you disagree, it's your prerogative to be completely wrong.
I watched that Duke team and they were not good, and I don't like the fit. I just don't see how one of those guys makes the other one better.
Okay.
That's my number one complaint.
Fair enough. Well, now that we're all riled up, let's get into 3-pack.
Let's do it.
What do you have for me this week?
Okay, so my theme for 3-pack this week.
Mm-hmm.
Again, let's remind people, 3-pack, I'm going to tell you three facts, but one of them isn't a fact. One of them's a lie.
Okay,
so my theme this week is team names.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you how 3 teams got their names, and you're going to tell me which one's the lie.
Okay,
let's start off here. The Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Started in 1970, and they held a fan vote to decide the name. The fans chose the Portland Pioneers, but were ironically blocked by local college Lewis and Clark, whose expeditions the team is now named after, because they themselves were called the Pioneers and didn't want to share the name.
Wow. Okay.
The Minnesota Timberwolves. started in 1989, got their name from a fan contest. The fans overwhelmingly voted for the Minnesota Nice, but were mocked by the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, who said a child could come up with a better name. Owner Marv Wolfenson then asked his son what the team should be named, and having that day learned of massive Timberwolf population in Minnesota, promptly answered Timberwolves. Fans re-voted and chose Timberwolves after hearing the story.
Okay.
And number 3, in 1988, the Charlotte Hornets were started by a quirky and mysterious self-made millionaire, George Shinn, and were originally intended to be named the Charlotte Spirit. But it was decided it would be put to a fan vote. The fans voted instead for the Hornets, which was chosen from Lord Cornwallis's reaction to the city as a hornet's nest during the Revolutionary War.
Wow.
So, all 3 chosen by fans. One of them is incorrect, though.
Okay. The fan voting that's a thing in the NBA. The best one by far is the Toronto Raptors. In the 90s, new franchise. Fans were just like, what's big fucking Jurassic Park, I guess. We're going with Raptors.
Yep.
That's my favorite one. That's the only one that I really know about. So this one's tough. Okay, Portland Trailblazers, Portland Pioneers, college team, wasn't happy about it. And so they changed the name to the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, and then we've got...
the Timberwolves.
Minnesota. What was the owner's name in Minnesota?
His name was Marv Wolfenson.
Wolfenson. So Wolf, Timberwolves.
Now, I will tell you, that's a real name. That is the true original owner of the Timberwolves. I did not make that up.
Okay.
So, don't think like, hey, I didn't give you any fake names here, but I gave you a fake story.
Okay.
Right? So
I mean, either way, I'm impressed that you came up with one of these.
Yeah.
There's some good detail in there. And then we've got the Hornets.
We say the same thing that George Shinn did.
Mysterious millionaire, you said.
Yes, that's correct.
What made him so mysterious?
That also is correct. George Shinn is mysterious because it's not 100% known how he got his money.
Okay.
He started some school business. He ended up buying colleges, selling textbooks. That was the money he used to buy an NBA team.
Okay.
So again, like, I did not make up the names of but the name itself of one of these teams is made up.
Okay. The Portland Trailblazers. I'm going to say that the Portland Trailblazers, that's true. There was a team that didn't want to share the name. I mean, if that's true, thank God it happened, because the Pioneers is an awful team name. And that college was insane for trying to gatekeep it.
Lewis and Clark, again, who they're named after.
Yeah.
Very, very ironic.
I think that the Timberwolves story, I'm going to call bullshit on the Timberwolves. The Sun discovering the large Timberwolf population recently, perfect time. I think that one's a lie, and I believe the Hornets won. I do think that it was considered a Hornet. Somebody called it, who called it a Hornet's nest?
Lord Cornwallis during the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
So you were right. You got me. You got me. The Minnesota one, it went to a fan vote, and they just chose the Timberwolves. It was pretty easy.
What was the name you came up with?
The Minnesota Nice.
The Nice.
It's a classic catchphrase of people in Minnesota, that people in Minnesota are what's called Minnesota Nice.
Okay. Wow.
So I thought I'd throw you off with that one. But I made up the whole story. Marv Wolfenson, again, was actually the original owner of the Timberwolves.
That's his name.
Yep. That is correct. And yeah, we'll do a deep dive on George Shinn, because I did a little bit of a dive, and I was very curious to read some more about him. And apparently he was a very quirky person, put up a lot of billboards to try and get the NBA to Charlotte, the whole thing. So I think we need to do a little deeper dive on the Charlotte Hornets when it comes to that.
The current owner is a quirky millionaire.
Billionaire.
Billionaire, yeah, thank you. Billionaire.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Wow. Okay. The mysterious millionaire. There's a couple of those in the NBA sphere. Jimmy Goldstein is famously one of them.
Yeah, maybe we just need to do like a mysterious millionaire deep dive. Like come up with 5 mysterious millionaires.
I'm fascinated by Goldstein, so I will definitely go down that rabbit hole sometime. Okay. The pressure was on.
Yeah.
Because you got it last time. I was so worried that I was going to trip up on this one. That was good. I'm impressed.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the final segment of the day.
Yes.
And that's Bet Brains.
Okay.
Back to the casino of Clayton.
So Bet Brains is a segment we came up with. We're both fascinated by sports gambling. I think it's the future. I think there's in the next 5 to 10 years, every arena is going to have some kind of sports book inside the arena in the concourse.
Yeah, we just got it in New York, so big news on that front.
I think that's coming. Now, you are more entrenched in that world than I am. You follow it, you understand it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So you're setting these lines. These are Clayton's lines here.
That's correct.
All right, so how's the money working?
So, the money's working as you're the host of the alternates.
Okay.
You get paid 100 alternates dollars per week.
Okay.
That is what you get to spend on gambling.
I will be negotiating my pay in a few months. When my review comes up.
We'll see. But for right now, that's what you're getting.
Okay.
And you're going to take $100 essentially and put it over 3 bets.
Okay.
Last week we did this with $100.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you won in the previous week, you can add to your 100.
Okay.
Or you don't have to spend it. You can bank it. Right? Okay, but each week you have to spend a minimum of 100.
Okay.
That's the minimum to come into the casino. We got a $100 minimum.
High rollers.
So last week we had 3 bets.
I got to say, this was fun for me because I was brutally paying attention to these games with these bets in mind.
Okay, so last week, you put $100 over 3 bets. You put $50 on the Hawks to go over 26.5 3-pointers made in Los Angeles on a back-to-back. They went 20 for 62.
Yeah.
So that one did not work out for you.
Not great.
Second bet was Memphis Grizzlies.
You know what? I take it back. Cam Reddish fucking sucks. The Knicks are going to be awful.
Yeah, they went 13 for 36 in the first game and 7 for 26 in the second game. Second bet was Ja Morant under 4.5 3-pointers made. And he only played in one of the games. So you actually texted me after the Saturday game when he didn't play and said, what happens to my bet? I said, if he logs minutes, it's a real bet.
Okay.
But if he didn't log minutes, it wasn't a real bet. So you actually hit on this one. He didn't play in the first game. He played in the second game. He went 0 for 2 from 3. So you put $20 on that one. You won $70.
Great.
So you're at 90. The 20 plus the 70 you won, $90.
I'm so glad that he played that second game. I feel like the Draymond guy from Clay
So
Day.
if he hadn't have played, we would have called it a push. You'd get your $20 back.
Yeah.
Right? That bet just wouldn't have gone through.
For those that don't know what I'm talking about, there was a guy for Clay's return game that put $1,000 on the under for Draymond's entire stat line for the game.
And then parlayed
all of it.
Yeah.
And he won $20,000 because Draymond technically played, but only logged 30 seconds. There was the tip, he fouled, and then he left.
I don't know how he got the inside scoop on it, but shout out to you.
Yo,
phenomenal.
Goals. That's what I'm trying to do here. I need an insider.
I love it.
At the casino. I'm trying to just rob the casino of Clayton.
So then the last bet was RJ Barrett getting more rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks than Jaylen Brown on their Saturday game in Boston. Brown put up a triple-double.
Yeah.
The points weren't part of it, but he had a 22, 11, and 11. They both had 2 steals and no blocks. So you didn't hit on that one. So from last week, you put in 100, you got back 90.
These young guys in New York,
I know,
that I'm so high on, apparently, really fucked me at the
and you know
casino.
what's funny is they played 2 days before that, and RJ Barrett had an unbelievable game. I know.
I was so excited.
Yeah. Okay, so for this week's bets, you've got 190 if you want to spend it.
Okay.
But you got to spend 100.
Okay.
So start with the lowest bet. We'll get you up to the highest one. Lowest one here, Jazz at Nuggets on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Under 9.5 total blocks.
Okay.
So that's between both teams. I'm giving you plus 250 on that.
Okay.
Next bet, Knicks at Hawks Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young under 25.5 points scored, plus 350.
Okay.
I like this one. There's the big Trae Young Knicks
Love it.
rivalry.
Yeah.
He's averaging, I think, 34 points a game versus them. So yeah, under 25.5.
Okay.
Plus 350. And the last bet here with plus 500 odds. Love this one. Cavs at Thunder Saturday, over 30.5 turnovers.
The over.
The over on 30.5 turnovers.
Okay. All right. So we got Jazz at Nuggets, under 9.5 total blocks.
Yep.
I like this bet. I really do. I think that it'll be under 9.5 blocks. I don't think that they get to 10 blocks.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have Gobert in this game. Obviously, could play a huge role.
Yeah, but even then, like, the blocks per game aren't 10 total blocks in a game is pretty wild to me. I get it. These two teams have the size to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting $50 on this one. I like this one a lot. I feel very good about this one. Now we got, Trae Young versus the Knicks. I don't know what I like more, the bet itself or just that Trae Young is playing the Knicks. Now, it's not as juicy because it's not at MSG, which is what you really want. But there's a factor in here. I think there's going to be a different shining star in this game. His name's Cam Reddish.
Cam Reddish,
and it's going to be the revenge game. I think he's not only going to look to score because he's shooting almost 40% from three, 90% from the line, but I think he wants to shut down his former team. And the Hawks are not good right now.
Especially defensively.
I think that there's, in the Knicks have these games where they play these just shut down defensive games. And it's what Tibbs has really kind of turned into an identity for them. Now, you're right. He's averaging like 34 points a game against the Knicks right now. And he's at home, so he's got his home crowd behind him. But every streak has to come to an end. I'm putting $40 on this game.
$90 into your bets here.
Yep. Cavs at Thunder Saturday, over 30.5 turnovers. Not a fan of this one.
These are two high turnover teams.
They are. I just don't trust this one all that much. I'm only putting $15 on this bet.
Okay.
I'm not buying. I'm not buying on this one. I think this is the one that it wants to lure me in. The odds are nice.
Yeah.
And I see right through the game. So I'm $15.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, you got enough here to cover your bets for the day, and we'll see how you did on these next week.
I'm going to be a rich man next week.
I hope so.
I'm excited.
Because that'll keep you coming back for more.
Yeah, I at least better get like a comped room or a free drink or something.
Oh, drinks are free.
Okay,
Drinks
are free. All right, I appreciate that. Well, thank you for setting those lines. Thank you all for joining us this week. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Quick reminder, if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe, like the video, hit our comments, share the show, rate and review the podcast if that's how you're consuming this. Whatever you do, it helps us out. We are in a brutal uphill battle against the algorithms. New shows are hard to get off the ground, and everything that everybody at home does helps us out so much. Clayton, what are you leaving us with this week?
Okay, I am leaving you with a song called Ain't Right.
Okay.
The band is called Goon from Denver.
All right.
One of my favorite labels, Convulse Records, DIY hardcore out of Denver. And this is off their 2019 Natural Evil LP.
That's a good name.
It is. And this is a good song with some fun lyrics.
Sick. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
The ritual